Hello, today is Wednesday, April 4th, 2018. My name is Daniel Mullaney, and behind the camera is Danielle Johnson. We are here to film a video source inspection for SciTech Process Solutions. Today we'll be viewing a fully refurbished Floorware Integris HTC 8020 cassette and box washer cassette box cleaning system. Our customer is located on the East Coast, and their PO number is 5500009893. This box washer has been refurbished, and what we'll do is first walk through the tool to examine the cleanliness and the quality of the refurbishment. We will then take some time to review the control module, what the features are and how they work. And finally, we will run a process cycle where we will clean the following product. These racks that are currently installed are not our customer's racks. Those racks are currently on back order. They'll be ready here soon, but the tool is ready, so we're going to still film the source inspection either way. Racks are cross-compatible, and any rack that we design will operate the same in the tool, minus slight variations in the overall dry time. So first we'll start over here. Here we have the high voltage power box. This is going to receive power from your 380 source. In our customer's case, they're actually running 480 of the tool, so we have a step-down transformer from behind. But this is where we're going to be receiving the power for the heater elements. This is high voltage 380 volts. On the other side of our setup right here, we have another power box. Here is the step-down transformer that I mentioned from 480 to 380 volts, which is included with the tool. And in here, we have our, there's not quite too much room to see back here, but you can see this area has also been cleaned out. Here's where we're going to have our 110 and 24 volt systems for control. All right, now we're going to come take a look at the front of the unit here. Here I have an Allen wrench to unlock the front door openings. Let's get that open by the camera right there. Let's see if we can slide on by. There we go. All right. So under here we have the air blower for drying. We have the DI recirculation pump right here. Here we have the Magna Helix for exhaust. We're also going to have some leak sensors up top right here that'll alarm if the tool has any failures. Back here you can see a variety of the valves that lead to the air knives. Inside here, you're going to see, as we noted here, we have the pre-filter, and we have an HEPA filter inside there as well. The air blower is going to suck in air from outside. It's going to blow down through here, which goes through the pre-filter and the high purity HEPA filter, and then comes into the chamber. The last item down here, which we'll show you again later, is this key. This key allows you to change from manual mode to standard process mode, essentially maintenance and operation modes. All right. I'll leave this side, the other side open, because we'll need to come back to that key. Now coming to the back of the tool. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to see here is the DI heater, or sorry, the air heater. That's going to heat the air that gets sucked in by the blower before entering the tool. Up here we have the surfactant pump, which is tied to the surfactant right here. We only have it hooked up with water, but it will work fine with surfactant as normal. And then this is our custom ducting that doesn't get delivered with the tool. This is what we use to essentially hook up our exhaust of sorts. What we do is we see down here we have some blowers that provide sufficient exhaust to run the tool. This is not a typical configuration for a fab, but since we don't have exhaust here, this is how we ensure the tool is going to operate correctly with your house exhaust. Here we have the DI water heater, which is currently at temp. This is essentially the manifold. This is the DI water heater right here. This is the TC for it. Here we have the ducting that's going to pull the air out. And here are the high voltage power lines that run from the power boxes we just showed you at the beginning of this video. All right, now lastly we're going to come take a look at the chamber itself. All right, so here's the chamber. As you can see, the chamber has been thoroughly cleaned. It really looks like new inside of here. The racks that we provide are also of the same quality of these racks. As you can see, they are perfectly new looking with stainless steel. Some racks are also sold as coated. Okay, now inside, what I'll do is I'll actually move this out of the way a little bit. Inside the chamber, you're going to see several spray arms. You have a spray hub on the bottom right, the bottom left, the top right, and the top left. Those are going to spray the DI water and will be spiked with surfactant for the actual initial wash. Then you're also going to have a variety of these guys, which are air knives. Those are going to be blowing the air that actually does the drying after the wash is complete. Those air knives will rotate using Bimba cylinders. Okay. We also have up in here the total control unit. This actually might cause an EMO situation, so we'll see if it does. We'll have to just fire the tool back up. Yep, there we go. So it just EMO'd because of this interlock right here. But here's the entire control unit. You have your Omron controller. It's all PLC programmed, and here's all the wiring that brings the whole tool together. Okay. Oh, a couple screws up there. We'll have to get those guys back on. All right. Okay, get this guy back locked. I'll come over back to the main power for the tool. Just clicked it back on. There's the power. So you're going to have a few of those EMO items on here. You have interlocks inside of both of the power boxes, and you have an interlock up here, plus a variety of other interlocks tied to leaks, exhaust, and the other facilities that should be running at a standard level. Okay, now let's get to the control panel itself. First, we're going to get the camera reconfigured here so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so here's the standard processing screen. You have a normal cycle, dry cycle, custom cycle, and timer settings. So normal cycle will run your wash with surfactant, your rinse, and your dry. Dry will only do your dry. Custom cycle is a feature that is actually programmed in but not available on these tools. And then you have your timer settings. So here you can set your DI heater idle timer, which programs in how long the DI heater will sit in idle before it turns off. You have your surfactant dispense timer, which says how long will the surfactant pump pull surfactant during the initial wash cycle. You have your wash timer, which says how long will the tool perform the wash step, which has surfactant spiked. You have your rinse timer, which says how long will the rinse steps be after the wash. There's a few rinse steps. And then you have your dry timer, which says how long will the tool dry once all the washing and rinsing is complete. Now, you can view all the timers here at once. So we have 2 hours of idle time, you have 3 seconds of surfactant dispense timer, 60 seconds on the wash, 60 seconds on the rinses, and 45 minutes on the dry timer. This is a pretty typical program right here. All right, so now we're going to exit. Now that's all you can do from here. Once you click normal cycle or dry cycle, the tool will start immediately. Now, a bit ago I mentioned that there's a key that can turn us into manual mode. I'm going to flip that switch now, and here we are now in manual mode. In manual mode, you're going to have 2 screens. The first screen are primary functions such as fill, drain, spraying, surfactant pump, the blower and the dampeners, the air heater, the door lock. So let's just show you how some of those work. Door lock, it's locked. Try to turn on the air heater. It didn't work. You know, that's because you have to first open the dampener and turn on the blower. Oh! You know what? That's actually great that that just happened. What happened was I forgot to turn up the our house exhaust here, because so essentially the tool EMO'd out because there wasn't enough exhaust provided. So the tool actually operated exactly as expected right now. So we're going to go ahead and turn the air back up. Okay. Turn the tool back on. Okay, now let's go through the same sequence. We're going to lock the door. We're going to open up the dampeners. And now we're going to turn on the air heater. Perfect. So now, since we have sufficient exhaust, the tool is able to operate in manual mode. Okay, great. Now we also have a second screen here, which is going to show all of the air knife operations. So in this case, what we can do is we're going to actually open up the chamber. Here's the door interlock. We're going to lock it into position, and let's demonstrate some of the air knives. Let's say zone 5. So I can hear it, and it's operating inside there. Let's try zone 1. Zone 1 is in the back top. And I just saw it rotate forward and back. Okay? So that's the rundown of manual mode right there. It's pretty straightforward and is only accessible if you have the key rotated into the manual mode position. So we will now turn back into our standard mode. I'll go ahead and lock up this bottom area. Okay. And now we're going to start a typical process run. So we'll go enter and normal cycle. Okay, so now what we're doing is first we're going to fill the DI reservoir that's going to recirculate during the wash. As this is DI filling, I'm going to show you a couple temperature TCs up here that I forgot to mention. You have your water temp and your drying temp. They're both set at 70. The water temp was at 70, but now it's dropping because we have fresh DI circulating into the reservoir. And the drying temp is at 30, but this will rise once the drying process starts and the heating element actually turns on. So this is dropping now, and it'll rise back up again as the DI water heats in the reservoir. Okay, now if we look into the chamber here, you can see the wash happening. This wash would be with surfactant spike, with surfactant spiked DI water. I'm taking a look inside. You can't really see it, but I'm looking at the spray arms, and well, that's just too hectic to see down on that side. But the top spray arms you can see, and they're spinning just fine. The bottom spray arms are as well. We tested them beforehand, but it's just a little too much wash going on in there to really see them spinning. Okay, so we've got 7 more seconds of wash. Now we're going to drain out the surfactant spiked DI water reservoir. Okay, now we have the fill timer back on. There is a safe fill timer remaining, so this basically ensures that the water reservoir fills at an appropriate rate in order to now run the subsequent rinse step. All right, so we've filled up, so now we're running rinse. You'll notice that the rinse looks quite similar to the wash, because essentially it is the same process here. We're going to be circulating a reservoir and cleaning the cassettes. The only difference is now we don't have surfactant. So another aspect that we look for is to ensure that we don't have any leaks. As you can see, the door seal assembly is in excellent condition, and there are no reported leaks on any part of it. That really is the most critical aspect of the door seal assembly, is ensuring no leak. You can stay up there with the camera, but I'm going to take a walk back here real quick to look. And as it should be, there are no leaks tied to anywhere in the chamber. Okay, back to drain. As we mentioned before, the water temp is rising again. That's because the DI reservoir is constantly heating the water that's being circulated in from your house DI supply. The most important aspect of having the DI heater is the first step too. You want your surfactant to be spiked with high temp DI water to ensure the best cleaning of your cassettes. Now, see, as the water temperature is dropping back down to closer to house temperature, it's okay, because all we're doing is now rinsing off the job that the surfactant and the hot DI water performed. Okay, now as I mentioned before, there are multiple rinse cycles, so now we are on rinse cycle number 2. And again, the tool is acting exactly as designed. Again, going through the drain timer step. Okay, now we're on to the third and I believe final rinse step. I'm almost certain of it, but we'll verify as it goes here. as always, you see the DI temperature rising during the rinse cycle because we're just cycling the reservoir, and the actual DI heater refills. It warms back up to about that 45-50 mark, and then it fills back into the chamber, and it drops when your house DI fills the heating column back up. And as before, we follow the rinse cycle, with a drain step. And we are now on to the dry cycles. So we have 45 minutes of dry cycle on. You see the air heater and the blowers are on, and then we have the air knife zones operating in sequence. So this is the time in the source inspection where viewing the tool running gets a little bit boring. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take off the camera for now. I just wanted to wait a second here. As you see the air knife zones icon switched over, every 40 seconds the tool rotates to a new air knife zone, and that's demonstrated on here. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to pause the camera here in a moment, and we'll come back on when there's about 3 minutes left in the dry cycle. We'll reintroduce the tool, and we will inspect the cassettes and boxes at the completion of the run. So thanks for your time so far, and we will see you again shortly. And we're back. That probably seemed pretty quick for you, I hope. We have 3 minutes and 20 seconds left of dry time here before we're complete. Taking a look inside the chamber. This chamber is already completely dry. Now, we only had a handful of boxes and cassettes in here, so this makes a lot of sense. This guy was realistically dried maybe 10-15 minutes ago because of having less product in here. When you have more product, it'll take the full 45 minutes. But that's our pre-programmed recipe. So, yeah, if I look inside, I can see a few droplets of water on the base. That's expected. It's similar to the rinser dryer, which we specialize in, where at the end of any run, you're going to have a little bit of water residue left at the bottom. That's because the drying elements aren't designed to, dry the base of the chamber. They're designed to dry the product that's held on the racks. So 2 minutes and 10 seconds left right here. Now coming back up here to the temperatures again, now you can see we have the water temp back at 70 degrees, 72 specifically. This is Celsius, because the DI heater reservoir is different from the DI fill reservoir. The DI heater reservoir has been filled for a while. The heater's been on, so it's heat up to 72. The air temp now, which before was only at 30, is now at 70 because those heating elements have been on the entire time, and by putting your hand on the chamber, you can tell they've been on. The sides are cool because they're better insulated, but the door here is definitely a little warm. It's probably about 40 Celsius, 40, 45 maybe. Like, okay, a minute 15 left. And our sequence is complete. You'll notice the air heater turns off first. The blower will turn off second. This is actually a little step that I had forgotten about, but there's a cool down timer right now, so that's going to be 120 seconds of cool down time. That way when you open the chamber and remove the product, it's not you know, at max temperature. One more minute of cool down time. Okay, down here the last 10 seconds. Okay, so process cycle is now complete. To unlock the door, you need to acknowledge it from the front, which is the reset button. Okay, now we're back to the home screen and the chamber just unlocked, both of them. You can hear it from here. I'm not sure, it's a little bit loud, but I could hear them click over. Oh, you can feel the heat coming out of it. That's explains that cool down time. Yep, the metal's even warm to the touch. If I held that for too long, I'd expect you could get a little bit burned. Makes sense. The product, however, is definitely handleable. You know, it doesn't hold heat like metal does, and it's perfectly dry. These cassettes are all perfectly dry. We have a variety of product in here. And our box is all set. As another quick note, SciTech can design racks for any product you'd like to run in the box washer. So if there are additional items that you need on top of cassettes and boxes, really any product, we've sold racks for all different shapes and sizes of items. We can go ahead and do so and optimize it to run in the chamber with whatever shape your product really is. So thank you for taking the time to view our video source inspection for today. That will be the conclusion. Again, my name is Daniel Mullaney, and behind the camera is Danielle Johnson. We filmed this video for SciTech Process Solutions. Today was, or is, April 4th, 2018, and thank you for taking the time to view. Have a nice day.